has the last year been for you?
Weird, unsettling, destabilising. That's it, really. I think everyone's been in the same boat. Lol.
Never lose, steady climb, city crime infested. 10 years, so divine, my blessings, I injected hope into my.
This is a brand new chapter for you. Third album. Tell us where it all began with Loving in Stereo.
It's something that we've kind of been thinking about for a while. You know, this record it's almost the ultimate jungle record. And this record, you know, we wanted to come back with a bang and come back with confidence and kind of uplift ourselves through that, through the creative process.
Energy, is that something that was really important for you for this record?
You start and the first question is like, well, what bloody tempo is this? You know, like, and you sort of have to pick the tempo before you kind of make the tune.
And with this record, I think we actually went through a process of like, sort of at the beginning at the start of an idea, it's sort of not necessarily working with that in mind, you know what I mean? So like sort of ignoring the fact that you've got a computer that you can sit and look at. And it was actually about creating a vibe in the room with either ourselves or other musicians, our friends that got involved in making the record and playing on it. That was the most important thing, rather than like, what is the number that I'm going to put in at the beginning of making this track that's going to define it for the rest of its life.
What was the recording process like? Have you worked with a choir before? Was this the first time you worked with a choir?
Definitely the first time that we've been in a room with that many musicians, and they're sort of like looking at you going like, what do we do now? And you're like,
it forces you to it forces you to step up, doesn't it? And like, you know, and most of the times we make records and it'll be me and him sitting there and, you know, we'll be playing GTA and you know, smoking a jazz cigarette and just sort of fiddling around with it going, what do you think of that snare, bro? What do you think of that snare? Is the hi-hat too loud? Is it too loud? And for this time, you know, you've got all these people in front of you in the studio and there's this real live energy that you have to capture in the moment, so you have to step up. And I think that energy got captured on the record and it almost shocked us in some way.
it's amazing when you collaborate with people, because as an artist, that's, again, it's like the only way that you can learn is by being inspired by someone else, by being taught different things that people know how to play and you've never seen before. You're like, wow, okay, I'm learning, and this is actually just like progressing me as a creative person. You know, you're just there with one of your friends, someone that inspires you, that is inspired by you as well. That's just like, it's just synchronicity, really. I don't think you can pick and choose. That just like happens. That's life.
What were you listening to at the time of formulating what the album was going to be like in your heads? Were there any artists in particular that really stood out to you?
You tend to go off just songs that you like remember, but you kind of like, should I go on Deezer and should I go on Deezer and just check what it sounds like? But you stop yourself, because if you do, you know, it's almost like you see it. You know, it's like a work of art. You know, if you know it too well, you'll end up copying it too obviously.
The jungle trivia. Loving in Stereo is actually the title of like one of the first songs that we ever wrote together when we were like 14. And I think like the record just has this youthful energy, this sort of like a sense of like weird like jungle nostalgia for some bizarre reason to me. It feels like the record that we've probably been trying to make since we were that young.
We've made a record that kind of fits a moment, and I suppose that moment is now.